Hi, I'm Tma. Today we'll be discussing the properties of 3D shapes and 2D shapes of a polygon. I will start off by explaining the concepts associated with these shapes. The caps page of this lesson is page 22. I have added a few shapes and a chart which will portray my lesson as my resources are used. These resources used will give a learner a better understanding of the topic, making it easier for them to view these 3D objects as a whole. This lesson will be used to teach a grade 5 class. The concept of 3D shapes in geometry are solid shapes or figures that have 3 dimensions. Highlighted word, 3 dimensions. In a 3D shape, we will find the length, the width, and the height are the dimensions. So in the dimensions, you'll find that the length, width, and height are part of the dimensions. The common names of these such shapes are cubes, a cone, a cylinder, and a sphere. These shapes are formed by properties which include edges, faces, and vertices. So the properties of a 3D object is edges, faces, and vertices. These multiple 3D shapes in our day-to-day life, we view them all the time, wherever we go and whichever place we've been to, such as an ice cream cone, a cool drink can, and a soccer ball. An ice cream cone is the shape of a cone, which is a 3D object. A cool drink can is shaped like a cylinder, which is a 3D object. And a soccer ball is shaped like a sphere, which is a 3D object. A 2D shape is part of a 3D shape because it forms. The concept of a face in a 3D shape is a curve or flat surface. An edge is a line segment between the faces, and a vertex is a point where the two edges meet. I will begin to show a few 3D shapes, such as a cube, which has 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. If you look at the cube, you can see it has 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. Your faces are these, your edges are these, and your vertices are where the points that meet. The cuboid has 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. As we look at a cuboid, it has 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. And as you remember, the vertices is where the two lines meet. And the edge is known as a line segment. A triangular prism has 5 faces, 6 vertices, and 9 edges. If you look at a triangular prism, this is what we have here. They have 5 faces, 6 vertices, and 9 edges. A cone, which is the one let's look at it here, has 2 faces, 0 vertices, and 1 edge. As we notice about this cone, it does not have a point where we meet. I will now begin to explain how 3D shapes are formed using 2D shapes, such as a cube is formed by using a square. A 2D shapes are associated with polygons, whereas a 3D shape is associated with polyhedrons, which is a closed figure made out of line segments. They are a combination of 2 words, poly, which means many, and gon, which means sides, which when put together pronounces polygon. The types of the polygons are a triangle, a hexagon, an octagon, and a pentagon. This is to teach learners about how each shape is formed based on the properties of shapes. I will begin to explain my chart, which will be visually attractive to learners' attention. The chart shows of the types of 2D shapes and 3D shapes and the types of polygons we have. The chart will show the 2D shapes. If you look on the top, a circle, an oval, a triangle, a square, and a rectangle. Thereafter, we look at the 3D shapes. which include a cube, a cone, a sphere, a cuboid. The learners will be asked questions orderly to determine the level of focus, as they will identify the faces, the edges, and the vertices. It is an oral activity for learners to engage in an enrichment activity. If you look at the board, a solid, aka 3D shape. We have a sphere, which shows us 0 faces, 0 edges, and 0 vertices. A cube, 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices, etc. If we turn over the page, we begin to see an activity for learners to understand in an oral exam. It says, insert the number of faces, edges, and vertices. Learners will be required to name them for a cuboid, a cube, a cylinder, and a cone. This is an enrichment activity to boost their mind. The chart will show the types of polygons as we look at them. A polygon such as a triangle, a quadrilateral, a pentagon, a hexagon, and an octagon. If nobody knows what's a quadrilateral, quad means 4, which is 4 edges, 4 lines. Okay. These resources is known as a representation to show learners what is meant by a space and shape. These resources is to ensure learners understand the properties as visually. This is a good form of teaching mathematics in a lesson. This is the part 3 of the lesson, which is called a demonstration, as I will further explain how to use the chart. Basically, we will discuss the properties of 3D shapes, then move on to the properties of 2D shapes. How 2D shapes will form 3D shapes. 2D shapes does not have any depth or space, which is why we say properties of 3D shapes. Then we will go on to see polygons. And finally, the learners will be asked to do an activity on inserting the number of faces, edges, and vertices. We will mark this activity by asking them questions one by one. I am Tma Assignment. Thank you.